Has it ever happened to you that after just a few blocks of walking, your legs don't seem to respond the same way? Or that by the end of the day, your feet feel more like stone than flesh and bone? Don't worry, you're not alone. Many people believe it's normal to resign themselves to feeling this way, as if wear and tear were the inevitable price of getting older. But today, I want to tell you something that maybe no one has ever said to you so directly. You don't have to accept that fatigue or numbness as your fate. I'm Gabriel, and in this space where we come together to strengthen body, mind, and spirit, I'm going to show you something simple, almost miraculous, that you can do at home to regain the agility, strength, and confidence in your own legs. Today, we're not here to make excuses or feel sorry for ourselves. We're here to take action. Because if life teaches us anything after 55, it's that every decision matters. Every small step you take toward your well-being builds the freedom you cherish so much. Stay with me until the end. What I'm about to share can not only change how your legs feel in just a few days, but it can also reignite that forgotten feeling of walking lightly, like someone who still has many roads left to travel. And believe me, once you learn the full ritual, you'll look at your legs in a whole new way. Number 1, discover the hidden power in your hands. How many times have you felt your body sending you subtle signs of fatigue, as if it was slowly taking away the autonomy you value so much? Maybe you've experienced it when trying to stand up from a chair and feeling your legs no longer respond with the strength they once had, or at the end of the day, when a heavy, numb sensation takes over, making you realize, though you might not want to admit it, that you're becoming more dependent on others. That feeling, silent yet persistent, is one of the hardest blows for anyone who has fiercely defended their independence. But here, I want to invite you to see your body from a different perspective, not as an enemy that's weakening, but as fertile ground that can still regenerate if given the right attention. In Stoic philosophy, Epictetus reminded us that we don't control what happens to our bodies, but we do control how we respond to it. Deterioration may be inevitable with age, yes, but how we face it is our daily choice. Today, you can decide not to stand idly by. Applying oil to your legs is not a trivial act. It's not just a simple massage for some superficial relief. It's a conscious ritual, a return to yourself where your own hands become instruments of transformation. Every stroke you give your legs will not only stimulate blood circulation and restore elasticity to your tissues, but will also send a direct message to your mind. You're still in charge. You still have the power to change what once seemed inevitable. Modern science backs this up strongly. Studies on manual therapy and essential oil massage have shown that these rituals not only improve blood flow, but also stimulate the release of endorphins, your body's natural happiness molecules. Suddenly, what once seemed like a small act becomes a powerful boost to your physical and emotional health, reminding you that your well-being doesn't come from resignation, but from intentional care. Think of the image of a warrior returning wounded from the battlefield. He doesn't lament his scars. He cleans them, honors them, and moves forward. In the same way, today, I invite you to cleanse the marks of fatigue with the respect your body deserves. Because those legs that sometimes feel weak are the very same legs that have carried you through life's sorrows, challenges, and victories. This is just the first key to regaining your vitality. If you think this simple gesture is powerful, wait until you discover the oil that can awaken the dormant strength in every fiber of your legs. What's coming next could mark a true turning point in the way you walk through your life. Number 2, rosemary oil. Awaken the sleeping strength in your legs. Imagine for a moment an old Roman soldier, retired after decades of serving the empire. He wasn't a hero immortalized in statues or books, but just one among thousands who, after the battles, returned to civilian life carrying both visible and invisible wounds. His name was Lucius, and although his spirit remained strong, his body had begun to weigh him down. The long walks he once managed with ease had now become a daily torture. The stiffness in his legs, the dull ache running through his muscles, the quiet fear of becoming a burden. All of it was a new enemy, silent but as relentless as any rival army. In those days, the Romans deeply valued natural remedies, the gifts of the earth that accompanied them both in war and in everyday life. Rosemary was one of those treasures. Army medics would use it to prepare oils that, when rubbed onto sore limbs, restored flexibility and vigor to the soldiers. It wasn't magic, it was wisdom. Rosemary, with its penetrating scent, stimulated circulation, helped reduce internal inflammation, and in doing so, restored not just the body, but also the dignity of those who had forgotten what it felt like to walk without pain. Lucius learned that it wasn't enough to passively accept deterioration. Stoicism, so ingrained in his military education, taught him that while he couldn't control the passage of time or the inevitable wear, he could control how he responded to it. So every morning, he dedicated a few minutes to himself, massaging his legs with rosemary oil, gently warmed by the sun, not as someone complaining about his fate, but as someone honoring the instrument that still kept him standing. Today, modern science confirms what Lucius and so many others instinctively knew. Rosemary contains compounds like rosmarinic acid and terpenes that, when applied to the skin, promote microcirculation, reduce muscle pain, and help regenerate damaged tissues. It's not just about feeling a temporary coolness, it's about restoring vitality to areas worn down by life and daily battles. Maybe you haven't wielded a sword or crossed borders like Lucius, but your battles have been just as tough. Loneliness, the distance from your children, the days when your body doesn't respond the way it used to. And every battle leaves its mark on your skin, your muscles, your soul. That's why taking rosemary oil in your hands and applying it to your legs isn't just an act of vanity or nostalgia, it's a silent gesture of power. It's your way of saying, I'm still here, I'm still moving forward. But the path to transformation doesn't stop with rosemary. There's another oil, far less known but just as powerful, one that heals wounds you didn't even realize you had. And its story runs even deeper. Number 3, Arnica oil, healing the wounds. Time left behind. Today, I want to propose something different. Not a drastic change, nor an impossible sacrifice, but a small act of care that can make a big difference. Tonight, after your shower or before going to bed, take a little Arnica oil in your hands, rub it until it warms slightly, and apply it with slow, upward strokes over your legs. Don't rush through it. Do it as someone giving thanks to their body for all it has endured. Close your eyes for a few seconds and feel each fiber beneath your fingers. It doesn't matter how much it hurts, it doesn't matter how stiff your legs feel. Every touch is an affirmation. I'm still here, I'm still fighting. Arnica, revered for centuries in traditional European medicine, does more than relieve muscle pain and bruises. Its natural compounds, like helenalin, act directly on deep inflammation, stimulating the recovery of fatigued tissues. From a Stoic perspective, this gesture is a symbol of active acceptance. You don't deny the pain, you don't hide it, you don't curse the passage of time. You acknowledge it, face it, and work with it instead of against it. And this, at its core, is living in harmony with nature, just as Epictetus taught. Many seek magical solutions, miracle potions that will restore their youth overnight. But the Stoics, and wise traditions like Taoism as well, knew that true transformation happens in the silence of steady acts, in those quiet moments when you choose not to give up. Arnica isn't some external magic, it's a reminder of your internal ability to heal, to rebuild, and to move forward. If this message resonates with you, if you feel that these small acts are touching something deep inside, I invite you to become an active part of this space. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like if you value these teachings, and let me know in the comments from which country you're watching. Knowing where you are connecting from brings us even closer, reminding us that even though the world can seem huge and lonely, we are truly part of the same community of strong and conscious souls. And as you allow the Arnica oil to work, as your hands recognize the story written into your legs, remember, healing is not about erasing the past, but about walking more lightly into the future. Because your story still has many pages left to be written, and every act of care is a declaration of life that no one can take away from you. Number 4. Peppermint oil. Renew the vital flow in every step. Did you know that the temperature of your skin can drop by up to 2 degrees Celsius within just minutes of applying peppermint essential oil? It's not just a feeling, it's a fact confirmed by clinical studies. Peppermint doesn't simply cool the surface, it triggers a reaction in your circulatory system that stimulates blood flow, releases trapped pressure in the tissues, and revitalizes the skin and muscles from deep within. It's like throwing open the windows of a house that's been closed up for years and letting a rush of clean, vibrant air flood in. Now think about your legs. How long have they been trapped in fatigue, in stiffness, in that heavy sensation that drains your desire to move? Every time you decide not to walk because your legs feel too heavy, every time you give in to the temptation to sit just a little longer, you're closing yet another window in your inner house. What would happen if today you decided to throw them all open at once? I want to invite you to try a small experiment. Tonight, before going to bed, mix a few drops of peppermint oil with a carrier oil and apply it to your legs with long, upward strokes, as if you were pushing the blood toward your heart. Then, stand next to your bed for 1 minute. Close your eyes and just feel. Don't think, don't judge, just feel. Can you sense how the freshness isn't just on the surface, but deep inside? It's life starting to move within you again. It's your body remembering that it still can, that it still wants to. The ancient Stoics said that it wasn't adversity itself that destroyed us, but the lack of inner movement it caused. When you let your blood flow, when you allow your body to awaken, you're sending a message to your soul. We're still alive. We still own our steps. Don't let stagnation become a habit. Just as standing water becomes stagnant and foul, so too do our energies fade when we stop moving them. Today, you can choose to reactivate your vital current, not with grand heroic gestures, but with the simple, powerful act of touching your legs, inviting life to circulate again, one refreshing stroke at a time. Because every step you reclaim is a step closer to the freedom you so deeply deserve. Number 5. Cypress oil, the steadiness. Your steps are calling for. There are trees that seem born to be silent witnesses to history. The cypress is one of them. Standing tall in cemeteries and along ancient roads, a symbol of eternity for the Greeks and protection for the Romans, this tree didn't just withstand the passing of time, it offered its essence as medicine for those seeking strength and continuity. Today, we know that cypress essential oil, extracted from its branches and cones, has extraordinary properties for revitalizing blood circulation, toning venous walls, and restoring firmness to legs that have begun to give in to gravity in the years. When you apply cypress oil to your legs, you're not just moisturizing your skin or relaxing your muscles. You're calling on the memory of all those years of resilience stored within your body. Every molecule of this oil activates microcirculation, helping reduce swelling, easing heaviness, and giving your veins the strength of a river that refuses to run dry. Modern science acknowledges its natural vasoconstrictive power, meaning it helps strengthen capillaries, those tiny vessels that over time lose elasticity and cause varicose veins and feelings of fatigue. But beyond the physical effect, Cypress offers a powerful lesson. In Stoic philosophy, steadfastness wasn't just a matter of the body, but of the soul. Epictetus reminded us, do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather, want them to happen the way they do, and your life will flow smoothly. At first, this may sound harsh, but it holds the key to true strength. It's not the stubborn rigidity of denying life, but the firm flexibility of adapting without losing your dignity. Every time you take the time to massage your legs with cypress oil, you are practicing just that. You accept the passage of time, yes, but you don't surrender to it without a fight. You reaffirm your structure, your roots, your ability to stand tall even when everything around you seems determined to bend you. In many ancient cultures, wounded warriors would return to cypress groves to find, beneath their shade, the strength they thought they had lost. It wasn't superstition. It was deep wisdom. They understood that just as the cypress withstands storms and centuries, so too could they endure fatigue, pain, and sorrow. I invite you to imagine for a moment that your legs are like those old trees. It doesn't matter how much wind they've faced or how many seasons they've witnessed. What matters is that you are still here, standing, capable of walking, of carrying your life and your dreams forward. And that every small act of care, like applying this oil and feeling it sink into your tired muscles, is a quiet but powerful reminder that you still have deep, strong roots capable of holding you up as you move ahead. True firmness doesn't come from sheer physical strength, but from the decision not to give up on yourself, even when the world outside feels like it's shaking. Just as the cypress rises against the sky without asking the wind to stop blowing, you too can rise each day, not begging time for mercy, but claiming with pride your right to live with dignity, firmness, and purpose. Number 6. Lavender oil, serenity for legs that have battled too much. In the rush of everyday life, we often forget how much tension builds up in our legs. It's as if, with every step we've taken over the years, we've carried not only the distance, but also worries, losses, and disappointments that weighed heavier than any physical burden. Eventually, the body starts whispering what the soul has been too afraid to say, and those faithful but weary legs begin to demand a rest that goes far beyond the physical. They are asking for peace. They are asking for serenity. This is where lavender oil comes into play, far more than just a pleasant scent we associate with calm. Lavender, used since ancient times in rituals of purification and healing, has properties that modern science continues to confirm. It reduces inflammation, eases muscle tension, and almost magically modulates the nervous system's response, slowing the heart rate and calming the mind. Applying lavender to your legs is, in truth, applying serenity directly onto the invisible wounds that time has left on you. Imagine for a moment that each touch infused with lavender not only soothes your tired muscles, but also cleanses the fears clinging to your skin, those quiet worries about the future, about your independence, about loneliness. In Stoic philosophy, serenity was considered the greatest of strengths. It wasn't about escaping pain, but about facing it with a tranquil mind, knowing that external turbulence holds no power over someone who masters their inner world. Seneca said, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality." Applying lavender is, symbolically, whispering a different message to yourself, that even in the midst of uncertainty, you can find your center, your calm, your inner home. Beyond Stoicism, other traditions also recognize the healing power of serenity. In Ayurvedic medicine, lavender is considered a healer of the mind and heart, balancing inner energies to return us to our natural state of harmony. And if there is something we truly need at this stage of life, it is precisely that: balance, acceptance, and the quiet courage to keep walking without letting our wounds define us. Tonight, when you apply lavender oil to your legs, don't rush through it or think only about physical relief. Take a moment to close your eyes and imagine that you are wrapping your legs in a mantle of compassion, like someone comforting a loyal friend who has been by your side through every battle. Allow the fragrance to seep not just into your skin, but into your soul. Let each slow breath remind you that while you cannot stop the passage of time, you can walk through it with an invincible peace. Because in the end, serenity isn't a gift someone else gives you. It's a state you build for yourself, touch by touch, breath by breath. And your legs, which have carried so much weight for so many years, deserve the greatest gift today: to walk not just lighter, but freer. Number 7, eucalyptus oil. Breathe new life into every massage. Life, if you stop to feel it, breathes. It expands and contracts like a great lung that moves with our days without us even noticing. And when we stop moving, stop caring for ourselves, stop giving thanks for this invisible rhythm, something inside us slowly begins to wither. Eucalyptus oil isn't just a fresh scent that clears the air. It's an invitation to remember that we are still alive, that we can still open spaces within ourselves for energy to flow with renewed strength. Applying it to your legs, feeling its coolness seep into your skin, is much more than a physical act. It's a way to break through inertia, to push back the stagnation that so often disguises itself as fatigue or resignation, with a rush of new life. Eucalyptus, known in traditional medicine for its decongestant properties, also boosts circulation, revitalizes tissues, and clears the subtle channels through which our internal energy flows. Modern studies have shown that its topical application improves tissue oxygenation and promotes faster recovery from muscle fatigue. But there's something science has yet to measure: the deep sense of renewal it sparks in the soul of someone who has felt like they were falling behind inside their own body. Stoicism teaches that the soul should be like fire, capable of igniting everything around it without being smothered by anything. Marcus Aurelius wrote that life is not about waiting for the storm to pass, but about learning to dance in the rain. Every time you choose to care for yourself, every time you refuse to give in and instead make space for life to move within you, you are dancing in that rain. You are acknowledging that while we cannot control how much time we have left, we can control how we inhabit it. Adding to this, Zen philosophy reminds us that there is no separation between body and mind, that each conscious breath, each intentional act, transforms the whole of our being. When you apply eucalyptus oil to your legs, you're not just doing a favor for your circulation, you're practicing presence, an act of love toward the very moment you are living. Pause for a second, even if only in thought. Ask yourself, how much space do I allow for life to flow through me? How many times have I shut the doors of my body and soul out of fear, out of pain, out of weariness? Eucalyptus won't come to save you, but it can stand as a symbol, a reminder that life doesn't give up so easily, that as long as you're breathing, as long as you are walking, as long as you touch your skin with the awareness of being alive, you still have everything you need to reinvent yourself. And that, my friend, is worth more than any empty promise of eternal youth. It is the real promise of a life lived with dignity, with courage, and with the profound gratitude of knowing there is still so much left to breathe. We've reached the end of this journey, and if you're still here, I want to tell you something not everyone dares to acknowledge. You have chosen to care for yourself. You have chosen not to give up. That, in itself, is an act of courage, wisdom, and self-love. It's not easy to face the signs that the body sends as the years go by, but it's even braver to decide to act, to choose, day after day, small gestures that, when added together, build a fuller, freer, and more dignified life. I'm Gabriel, and I thank you deeply for staying with me until this moment. If you feel this content has brought you value, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so we can continue walking together along this path of inner strength and conscious vitality. Every message we share here is meant to remind you that your well-being doesn't depend on age or circumstances, but on your daily decision to live with intention. I want to propose something simple but powerful. If you've made it this far, comment with the phrase, "I choose to care for myself," and let me know which country you're connecting from. Reading your words not only fills me with energy to keep creating, but also helps us build a real community woven from stories, experiences, and that silent determination that unites all of us who believe it's never too late to renew ourselves. I also encourage you to share this video with someone who might need it. Maybe you know someone who feels the weight of their legs, of the days, or of life itself. Maybe a simple gesture, like sending them this message, could be the spark that awakens in them the desire to move again, to believe again in their own body, in their own strength. Thank you for being part of this space. Thank you for betting on yourself. I'll see you at the next gathering, and until then, keep walking with strength, with faith, and with the deep conviction that there's still so much life left to live to the fullest.